Hi, I'm John, and we're at the Coos Art Museum in Coos County, Oregon. And I'm here with M V Moran to talk about this amazing exhibit. It's Big Girls and Bad Air here at the Coos Art Museum. And welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I appreciate you taking the time to talk about my Big Girls and my Bad Air, which is 9 pieces. So thanks.
So these are the Bad Air pieces, and there's 9 of them total for a total of 12 in the exhibit, including the 3 original Big Girls. Tell us about Bad Air.
Sure. Well, there are 4 triptychs in the entire series.
Oh, gotcha.
So Big Girls is a triptych, and then there's 3 triptychs in Bad Air. But there's 9 total, so we did a little math here. 3 times 3 is 9. So right here we have Refuted. She's one of my favorite pieces because she is just absolutely finished. Her tiny little arms go up towards her face. And for this piece, I was thinking of Frida Kahlo, and I was thinking about the Hispanic influence in my life with this work, the murals in my life. My stepfather's from Mexico. We went to Mexico when I was a kid. We saw lots of murals, so I really, really, really wanted to bring in my approach to being completely finished.
So here we are, this is Resigned. And this is just stunning. It's the contrast between that kind of classic pose with the emotion of the face. And then there's something going on here. Yeah.
So for this piece, she is resigned to her environment. And so she's kind of dripping down, if you will. So for this piece, I was thinking the heaviness of the body, the heaviness of the earth. For her, she is just falling down, but still standing up. So I wanted that tension of both. And for her, I put basically a halo around her to, once again, the idea of icon is important in my work. The vertical of the piece, the standing of the piece, the lonely female form.
Here we are with Rejected. Tell us about this piece.
Well, Rejected, I really went a little bit Botero on this one. So with her face, it's a little bit more abstract. It's a little bit more, I guess you could call grotesque. She has the double chin, which is absolutely forbidden in our society. But then at the same time, she has these enormous, wonderful, squishy breasts. And you're like, oh, again, we've got a sexual creature. What's going on? She doesn't want to be viewed that way. She's really upset. She's really angry. And then she has this awkward hand placed on her hip and then down again through her legs. So again, this is all about composition, from the knee to the hand, to the arm, to the face, over to the breast, and then to the belly. And so for me, this was more about the composition and playing around with Botero's concept of the human body.
Stoic.
Yeah, this is Stoic, and she is, one of my favorites. I think I've said that once before. So
that saves me having to ask you.
So Stoic here, what I really love about Stoic is her gaze is off to the side. There's more of an illustration quality to this work. And she seems to be the one that is most adhered to the panel from this point to the bottom, even though her top half does pull forward a little bit.
This is fascinating to me, the idea of the composition, your circles, the graphic quality that you're talking about here, but there's just something extra special for this in me, the geometric versus that sumptuous, quality, sumptuous isn't the word.
Yes, it is. It's great. Yes. Well, for her face is more angular than the other pieces, and I did that because she's a little self-righteous. This gal is a bit of a Pharisee, if you will. And I actually put a little bit of me and my mom into this drawing because as mothers, I think we do get a little judgmental and sanctimonious for protection, to protect our offspring.
And here we have subservient. This, in contrast to the previous, seems especially clear in terms of us feeling what she's feeling.
Exactly. So with subservient, she again has the heaviness of some of the pieces. The gravity is just pulling her down, but also she's leaning in as if she's accepting this kind of fall or downward motion. At the same time that her body's accepting it, her face is confused by it, saddened by it, and overwhelmed.
Yeah.
So again, we have the contrast of the body and the facial expression, and then this just black background that gradiates towards hope, and then again down to black, which is hopelessness. So I'm playing again with the concept of good and bad, the concept of black and white, and also playing with the tension of the body.
Passive, patient, perfunctory. Can you tell us what's happening here?
Sure. Well, with passive, we have a woman who is gazing out at the viewer. So she is inviting you in. She has a slight smile, similar to Botticelli's Venus in Birth of Venus. Her stance is not confronting you at all.
We get the shoulders are coming in, and
leaning. She's inviting you into her space. For patient, I was thinking about my grandmother. So my grandmother was a wonderful woman. She had curly hair. So I did bring in, again, women of my life. And I put my grandmother's nose on this one. And I also thought about how my grandmother kind of stood. So her stance is similar to that of my grandmother. And I was going for this patient way that my grandmother would listen to people, this patient way of accepting who they are. And I wanted to bring that into this piece.
Here we have perfunctory.
She was my most difficult drawing because, again, I wanted to take her body from the edge to edge. I wanted to bring in the voluptuousness of Botero and then go with the tiny hands. And the tiny hands represented this idea of the inability to move forward, the inability to do, because we do a lot with our hands. And so that's what this piece was about. But I also wanted her to take up a lot of space. I wanted her neck to be nice and thick and her face to be really large. And again, she does have the thick lines around the body, but less so. It's basically she's touching space. So she is a little bit more inclined to be utilized rather than having her own ideas. She's a follower, and maybe she follows fools, I don't know. But she is not the type that maybe thinks about her future. Some of us have been haphazard in our lives. That's this gal.
And there's a resigned quality to it, but it's a little different in that there's an attitude, but it's not questing. It's what's the next thing.
Exactly. These are 48 inches by 95 inches, and the centerpiece, the center of the icon, is confrontation. She confronts the viewer. Her gaze lets you know that she knows who she is. She may be boxed in, but she is not going to stay there. With contemplation, over here to our left, she's more observing confrontation. She wants to see what her sister does. What's happening next? Where will we go? What are we doing? And over here, we have confinement. She knows she's confined. She understands what's going on. But with her, she's about to rise. With this knee placed on the ground, she looks like she's going to get up any moment and really break this confinement. So this is what I was doing. I wanted them to be gazing at each other and out at the viewer to bring everyone in together. And this triptych is really important that it be seen as a triptych of the way I made it. So I don't think these are standalone pieces.
Well, M V Moran, what an honor and what an experience to gaze and have the gaze come back and to learn so much. Thank you so much for your time and for this work. And you can find out all about M V Moran and her work at mvmoran.com and on social media. And as always, here at the Coos Art Museum in Coos County, you can get us at coosart.org, and we'll see you next time.